Hi, this is Bruce, and in the last two videos we learned how to connect to the database, and we learned how to select records from the database. So in this video we're going to learn how to insert information or data into the database. So let's start off by doing a simple insert directly from the URL. So I'm going to go here to app and make a new file called insert.php. And obviously we have to start our PHP, and we'll close the PHP right off the bat. Just like in the select, we're going to do a require once, and what we're going to require is the link. So it is includes and what did I call it? DB Connect. And so let's just go and make sure that that's working. So insert.php, and come here and we'll just uncomment the echo here and refresh, and you can see we are connecting. So that's good. And then we'll just comment that out again, and let's go back to working on our insert. So we're going to start off with a couple of things that we did last time. We're going to create a results array so that we can pass the message or the results back via JSON. We're going to create also an inserted rows variable so that we can track how many rows that we've inserted just for fun. And so like last time, we are going to create a query based on what we've done. Okay, so in order to create that query, I find a good way of doing it is to log in to phpMyAdmin and do an insert. So DemoDB, that's where we are. And we can browse. We can see we've got two records there. So let's add a third record. So insert. And I'm not sure what his favorite TV show is, but we'll put Bewitched. And when we click go here, you can see it's giving us the query that it used in order to insert that. Ours is going to be a little bit different, but it certainly gives us a good starting point. So I'm going to take that and come back here and paste it here and turn on WordWrap. So this time I'm going, because this is a little longer query and because of the way it works, I'm going to actually create a variable for the query. I probably should have done that for the other one as well. And then I'm going to copy that into here. And there's some things we can get rid of. So we can get rid of all these backticks. Right, so, and then there's other information that we don't need. So the demo ID will be automatically incremented, so we don't need to put that. The name, email, TV show we do, and then timestamp will also be automatically put in as the default. Right? And then here, instead of putting, right, so now we've got 3 pieces of information that we'd like to put into the database. And so instead of doing it like that, Using prepared statements, we're going to say we don't know the value yet, so we're not going to pass it directly. So, but we are going to say we're passing in 3 values into this query. We don't know what they are yet, but we will worry about that in a little bit. So now we're going to wrap all this into a conditional and to prepare the statement. So if and then statement equals my SQLI prepare, and we're going to pass in our link and the query. And then once we've prepared the statement, we have to bind the parameters. So binding the parameters means that we're going to go and find the information that we're going to put into these 3 values to pass into the query. So on the statement, we're going to bind param, and then we have to say for which statement. So statement. We have to say what these values are. So all 3 are strings. So strings are S. So we're passing 3 strings so that the type is there. And then we're going to do request and I think you've done this with Peter, and maybe you've also done it with Jim. I don't know. I'm going to use full name here just so that we don't get confused with the just the name thing of last time, so which might be causing us some havoc. I'm going to do the email and TV show. So these are the values that we're going to be passing in the, request is, we can use that for either post or get, right? So get is when we see the name value pairs in the URL, and a post is when they're passed without affecting the URL, and a request just allows us to get either one. Ideally, eventually, we would put this into a post. But for testing and development, or for learning, request makes a lot of sense because we can use either gets or posts, and you see we're going to start off by using a get, and then eventually we'll create the form in order to be able to do it from a form rather than typing it out in the URL. At least that's the plan. So now that we've bound the parameters, right, bind parameter, and I misspelled it, bind param. Now we have to execute. So so just like we did for the select, MySQLI statement execute, and we're going to execute that statement. And then if it is successful, it should return how many rows it inserted. So here we can update that inserted rows variable that we made up here at the beginning. And if it works, then it should return a 1 or something. Statement. Don't know why I didn't write it out. I usually word everything out. Now let's just see if we've got any inserted rows. So we'll create a conditional. So if inserted rows is greater than 0, and then we'll go in here and we'll build our array so that we can give some information back. So results is equal to, so let's pass in the inserted rows. And let's pass in. Let's go and grab the ID of the that was automatically incremented or created when we inserted the record. So we're going to reference the link, and again, this is the link from the DB Connect, right? This is what we called our connection. And then the method, or I guess the property, is insert ID, insert with a T, ID. And let's throw in the full name of the person, just so that we can double check that we're actually inserting the thing that we think we're inserting. So full name equals request. And this, we're just obviously getting it from the request up at the top. And now, of course, we have to echo out the JSON. And we're looking for the results. Okay, and we just needed to add a semicolon here to finish this statement. And then I've got my, who am I going to do? We're going to do Robin this time. So Robin, and his email will be Robin. And his favorite show will be Little House on the Prairie. So let's copy that. And we'll paste that into here. And refresh it. You can see our JSON's outputting that we've got one inserted row, that the ID for this inserted record is 12. We can see how many mistakes I've made, and the full name is Robin. So if we go back here and just click Browse, we can see that we've got the record that we just entered here. Robin at robin.com, Little House on the Prairie, and with a timestamp of, as you can see. Why did I do that? There we go. So for our insert PHP application, we are requiring or including the link. We've got an array in order to do the JSON. We've got a variable here, inserted rows, to keep track of how many rows we've inserted. We're creating a query in under this variable. So we're inserting into the table demo, which is the name of our table. The name, email, and TV show. And then we're using prepared statements to pass in the values. So here we're just saying we've got 3 values to pass. Then we prepare the statement. We have to bind those parameters, so we're binding them to the statement, and then we're defining what kind of data type we're using. So these all 3 are strings, so SSS, and then we have the 3 pieces of information. So the full name, which becomes name, the email, which becomes email, and then the TV show, which becomes TV show here. After that, we execute it just like we did for the select. And then this time we're using MySQLi statement affected rows to get the number of inserted rows. And then if the inserted rows is more than 0, so if we've been successful, then we should get the JSON array like we see there. And so let's just copy that just so that we can see it. Open up my linter. Right, so you can see inserted rows with and the row has an ID of 12, and the full name is Robin. And so in the next video, we're going to look at how to add error checking so that it can help us identify errors as we go along. I hope this helps.